Hello, my infinite human family. I'm going to try this third time. If not, I'm going to record it and I'll put it on there. But I've been asked to talk about Ascension, the true Ascension mechanics by Linda, one of our infinite human being families. And I'm Elizabeth Monroy. I'm the author of The Infinite Human, and it's an Ascension guide. So I want to go into more detail about what is in my book. If you don't understand me, I definitely recommend that you get my book and check out my YouTube channel, Infinite Human Productions, and join our Being an Infinite Human Facebook group. And most of all, subscribe to the website, www.infinitehuman.com. So, Ascension, huge and so misinformed information. So, I want to say, first of all, that your body right now, your temple, is very, very important in the ascension process. Not, so that you look, although we are not supposed to age, we are not supposed to die in our 12-stranded DNA bodies. Okay, right now, that's not really happening because there's a war going on. So you may be one day positioned really wonderfully in your 12-stranded body, like I was before I left Sicily, and then come into, a network of the AI, which is created to downgrade your body and keep you imprisoned. So your body really has been a prison, the carbon body. And part of the ascension process is to accrue enough, not only the DNA strands, but to have them properly connected or braided together, and to have the fire letters turned on. And in the past, that's what Yeshua, there was 3 Christs or 3 Yeshuas. There was a Yeshua 12, a Yeshua 9, and then there was a poor, guy who got talked into being crucified, So anyway, but the true Yeshua, the Christ being that came here, had 12 strands and turned it on and did his works, his miracles and everything. And that's what our true bodies are meant to be, with divine technology. We are supposed to do all this technology from our own organic bodies. So that's part of the ascension process that is happening from the frequencies of the photonic belt and the alignments of our suns coming from the earth sync, all right? And traditionally what happens is that when you're in a system, even a fallen system, as you accrue the proper key codes inside of your 12 strands of DNA, you can move to stargates that are positioned throughout the planet and pass through them, just like in the movie Stargate, all right? You can move right through it to another part of the universe, to the higher dimensions, to the God source worlds. And what you see at night, the stars that you see, if you can still see them with Elon Musk's space cage, is actually a skeleton of the energies. And many of these Polaris, for example, is Gaia, is the future Earth. So it is, time travel is interdimensional, and we are in different harmonic universes. We have been restored to the harmonic universe from which we were pulled out through black hole technology. And I write all about it in The Infinite Human. Okay, this hidden history, which you really need to know to understand what's going on. So there's been a war, and actually the war has been more over 2 fallen universes trying to pull us, our time matrix, which is the 12-stranded Zephyr, the 12-stranded tree of life, which is the true matrix for the true universe, not the fallen universe, all right, which is very important. And so, for example, this began in the cradle of Lyra, and Ceres, seeded us, and the Lyran seeded us, and these are all non-corporeal God source worlds, all right? So it's big story here. Now, I always like to give you my references because, and I write about it in the book, a lot of my material comes first from the CTD plates, which are actually what Yeshua was transcribing and writing down, which all the Christed beings have tried to preserve this truth and written it down for us, because it is inside our 12 strands of DNA. But when we got disconnected and unplugged from source, we lost that information. And as you ascend in frequency, as you reconnect your DNA, you will begin to remember this, and it will resonate with you. But Ashiana Dean was very good at sorry, I like to be in the sun when I talk, so I'm out here where I can find sun. So Ashiana Dean is someone that I listen to a lot, although she's been hijacked. Everyone in the physical has been hijacked to a point. I always say, use your own discernment, use your own connection. And I followed her since 2017, and I still don't understand her stuff, because what she does is she downloads mathematical equations and then creates graphs and charts and then explains them. And I'm still don't understand. And perhaps she doesn't even understand it, because she is a scribe. She takes it down. And there's other people that I've followed, and I've included some references to them: Lisa, Renee, David, Ike, you know, putting the puzzle pieces together. But it's all been my own journey, and as it is yours. So you need to start learning to discern, and I can understand how hard it is, because since I came from Sicily, I had my 12 strands connected, and I was so just there on 5D Earth, which is Tara, most of the time with my twin soul who is there. And when I flew into this mess here in the US, I found I've been under brain fog for the past several months, just trying to transmute all the densities. So true ascension is when you are in your 12-stranded DNA crystal body, because it's not carbon based, it's crystal based. That's hence the word Christ, but it's really a crystalla body. And you can go home anytime you want by moving through the stargates in a perfect world. However, all that has been co-opted by these two warring factions that want to pull our multiverse, our universe, down into their fallen universes to feed upon. Because when you are not in your 12 strands, when you are severed from source, you begin to rot, just like a fruit on the divine, it begins to rot, and you can only survive by parasitically living off of other life forms. And that's why they covet organic, angelic, Christ beings like us, and we have been pulled into a lower universe. Now, as a fail-safe program, because every time we start to restore our divine DNA, they come up with something. Right now, the whole weaponry of the 5G matrix, the chemtrails you see every day, the food being trucked in, all this is part of the conspiracy to keep you imprisoned in a carbon body, so you cannot make that connection to not ascend, because once you ascend, you're free. That's true freedom. And historically, we have not been able to ascend. We have had to, when we die, our quantum, our soul, goes into a fourth dimensional astral plane and has to reincarnate back into the prison matrix. And that's the loop, the reincarnation loop. Now the pathways are clear, because actually a fail-safe program has been implemented in 2017, which was planned out 260 billion years ago by the guardians who have watched us and tried to bring us back to source, bring us back home the whole time, ever since the fall of Earth, of Tara. So Earth can become Tara once again, and Tara can proceed to Gaia, which is in the 7th dimension. So, you know, there is a plan here, and there is the guardians. I work for them, a guardian race, and I am one of them. And many of you listening to this are one of them too. It's just that you're not, perhaps non-corporeal 45-stranded DNA beings that cannot, and you are those, but you cannot hold that consciousness in your downgraded body, many of which are 2 to 3 strands. So that's why many times when you dream, you have exalted dreams, you have this wonderful expansiveness because you're out of your body back into your true densities, which are very high densities, and as soon as you wake up, you can't hold that consciousness anymore. So kind of see that the Maya, the world of illusion, which the Hindus call Maya, is the illusion, and your carbon body can only contain so much. So part of the job is awakening. My book triggers memories, triggers awakening moments. Many have said that. Some of them are very difficult. Some of them are tragic. Many people cry because of they begin to remember what's been done to us. But the good news is we are on a fail-safe program that very, very highly evolved, non-corporeal entities sacrifice themselves in many ways. Before the fall of terror, they knew we were going to be pulled through a black hole and into a fallen universe. So they descended into the center of the earth and created what is called the halls of Amente. And there are actually, many people have seen these pictures of these huge crystalline structures that are like skyscrapers, all positioned around the earth. Some are in Chihuahua, Mexico. Now, those are actually beings that are holding the frequency that has now been activated, the fail-safe program, the Ark of the Covenant, which is the Ark back to Tara, is pulling our entire earth back up to the point of pre-fall Tara, so we can continue our true organic timeline back to Gaia and to freedom. Tara is the point, because these were lost souls. Many of us have been lost souls of Tara that have been embedded into our solar systems. You know, our whole solar system was Tara at that time, and into the earth, and trapped in phantom levels. So what's happening now is we're freeing, and we are helping others to free. Many of us came here, like myself, on a mission of reconnaissance, of Christo reconnaissance mission to free the souls of Tara. And so we couldn't free them, so we're just bringing the whole earth back, basically. You know, that's what's happening. So when I say things to you guys, I say them very simply. That's why I say you want to get on the organic 5D timelines, because what the bad sides are trying to do, they're fighting over their food supply. And they are trying to keep Tara down, but it's like Gulliver, Lilliput's putting little things on it. I wanted to address solar flash because I know a lot of YouTube people are always talking about, the solar flash thing. And you have to realize most of these people, I'm not that. I don't do that. I talk when I'm prompted. And that's one of the reasons I also like Ashiana Dean. She might be silent for 2 years. In fact, I'm waiting for another activation to sync with those crystalline beings that we can't do yet because it's still co-opted by the dark side. So, it's not about entertainment, it's about giving information at the right time. So please stay tuned to me, infinitehuman.com, because I never know when I'm going to be putting stuff out, just when I get prompted to from the guardians, from the higher God source worlds. But what I do try to do is say things very, very simply, all right? And the artificial timelines are collapsing, but the problem is with these injections, with the chemtrails, with the food, with the downgrading your food, getting you to eat, humans, cannibalism, or insects, with everything they're doing is trying to reverse polarities in your bodies, okay? Now, we're not at a point, in the future we will, where people can just simply walk through a Stargate or can take their bodies with them. Most of us will end up dropping our bodies, which doesn't matter, because what we want is our plasma body, our true plasma bodies to be developed. That's what I worked with Peter. I worked on it to get my mother, so she had the vehicle to go back to Tara. So a lot of the work is, and many people are teaching some of Ashiana Dean's early techniques, which work with, there's a lot of people that work with the radiant body, the golden body, the rainbow body, but those are all lesser bodies. The highest body you have is your plasma body, all right? Rainbow plasma body. And you want to build that body up so that when you don't need your physical body, your soul mission is done, you just simply put your consciousness completely in your plasma body. And I've done work where I'll raise a physical hand, then I'll raise my plasma hand, or I'll send my plasma body out to the store, or remote viewing something, you know. So it's good to keep developing that, and I will maybe do some exercises with that in the future. You know, a lot of things are shifting, but that's going to connect you to 5D, the organic timelines, and you want to develop that because you don't want to become so encumbered, your carbon body so encumbered with reverse polarities and AI inserts and holographic inserts that you no longer can make that connection to get out. And then there are so many fallen entities in these phantom earths that cannot, they would like to return home, but they have too many reverse polarities in their energy systems, so they can't. And the only way they can return, everything returns to source, is as space dust. And it is sad. So you want to constantly be, and I always say this, okay, this is simple and you can say it, and I always ask every day, please, divine infinite source, help me to be the highest version of myself. Oh, thank you. The highest version of myself on the highest organic timeline, so I can be of the greatest service to humanity and our Mother Earth in the ascension process. And that's what I say all the time, and I always surrender my will, thy will, not my will. And then you will be guided and led. And when you're of service, you, even if you can't get out of, because you don't have a plasma body, if you're of high service, you are hosted out. That means a 24 density and beyond, you know, being takes you out. And thank God, you know, I miss Peter terribly in the physical, but he's there, and I know I got an ace in the hole, and I know I'm getting out of here. And I'm glad. You don't want to stay here because it's just going to fall into a phantom universe, the other timelines. So I hope that explains Ascension. Gosh, I mean, it's huge, but that's why I say my advice is very simple. I say, the earth is ascending, so that's why you want to earth sync, but you want to earth sync in ascending areas, not descending areas. That's one of the reasons Ashiana Dean's not doing activation right now, because it's not safe to earth sync with those crystalline beings yet. They've been co-opted. So if you're earth syncing in an area that is laden with AI Metatronic reversals, you're just pulling your own body down. You don't want to do that. That's why I am encouraging, especially there are some really great souls here who have very important jobs right now. If you're listening to me, it's probably you. So part of our job is to get out and find places that I believe have been set aside during the Golden Age, before the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria. We knew this was going to happen, and we said, let's meet back up in these hubs, and there are to be hubs, points of light, points of the first points of the 5D communities that are being formed. And they're going to be in a beautiful area that is ascending. For example, Sicily, I just heard another volcanoes is activating now, and they're evacuate tourists. I said, that's great, because the volcano, the powder from the volcano protects from the radiation, which is one of the reasons I've had such a hard time coming here. I didn't know how protected I was. So, you know, oh, hi Louise, hi Conan, hi Leslie. Hope you guys are hearing this, and if you have any questions, Linda asked me to talk about this. So I hope this clears you up on the solar flash. Yes, there's solar flashes all the time. I mean, one of the reasons, like I say, the YouTube entertainers and people that they have to have content all the time. That's their job. And if they have a Patriot channel, they have to have conscience. So they have to keep saying, yes, yes, yes. But one of the problems with that is that you're not going inward and you're not being the change. You're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting for something else outside of you to do it. And you guys that are listening are very powerful, powerful beings. Extremely powerful. So that's why I say find your little spot that you set aside for yourself eons ago, and plant yourself down there, and then start if you build it, people will come to you and you will become so wealthy, and you will hold on to those organic timelines that will ride you back to 5D Terra, because all hell's going to break loose right now as we see the artificial timelines just dissolving. We're going to see stock markets falling. We're going to see, places that aren't built on any kind of reality just disappearing or being destroyed as Earth does ascend. And yes, a solar flash, there will be a point, and I wrote about it in The Infinite Human, where the artificial stuff, all this crap, these towers, the SpaceX, like the little Lilliputans trying to hold Gulliver down, it's just going to be exfoliated like a scab. But we need the structures, the infrastructures. We need us, the guardian race, because the Kristalla infinite human race was created as guardians. We are the guardians of this universe. We are the guardians of this time matrix, the true time matrix, and of our Mother Earth. So we need to plant ourselves in strategic places all around the planet and form hubs and network with one another to exchange, seeds and information and just frequencies, and hold the frequencies and beam steer us back to 5D Earth. So that... Finally, I'm out of my fog, guys. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I've been walking around for 2 months like, as I finally pierced through them. Again, I had to do it all over again. I had it in Sicily when I was in Sicily. I made one of my videos where I just raised my hand up and I turned the electricity on at Peter Pan Beach. And when I got here, I was like, But that's part of it, because as I'm transmuting things around me and helping you to transmute. As you transmute or ascend, you're ascending your areas, okay? Even if you're just, cutting people's hair. God, Leslie, I wish you could cut my hair. Can't find anybody I want. Or, whatever you're doing, just growing seeds or anything, you're so important. And be the change, don't put, here everybody's waiting for, Trump to come and make everything okay again. And meanwhile, they're putting all their energy in the corporations. And I put a thing out today that corporations are the instruments for your enslavement, for your genocide, for downgrading you. Everything was pre-planned with the Rockefellers and the DuPont families creating toxic foods and chemicals to clean your house and pesticides to spray your lawns. It's all been a plan. And if you want to know the hidden history, it's right here. And America has led the way, and it's the money, because there's so much money here, and the people don't have their money. They just they work for it, and then they go out and they support this system, this corrupted system. And they put signs in their yard that says vote Trump. They'll do that in a year now. Okay, it's Halloween decorations now, and then Christmas, and and then it'll be the political signs. Or here in Louisville, it's the Cardinals or the whatever, the games, the Roman games. So and that's going to go on. And unfortunately, they're going to have really rude awakenings when they realize, their everything they've built their existence on is fake. It's false. It's going to end. These timelines are going to come abruptly, or the worst part is that they're going to just have their consciousness injected into this simulation and not be able to extract themselves. And when the simulation is exfoliated, they're going to fall into a fallen universe, and they'll think that they've ascended in Revelations, and God the Father is drying their eyes. And Anyway, I write all about that in my book, The Infinite Human. So please get it out to people that you think need to hear it. It's not for everyone, but I hope that clears. Does that? Okay, good. I hope that clears up the confusion, because there's so much confusion about ascension. But the good news is the earth is ascending, okay? The organic earth, you know, that's why you want to get out into the organic earth. You want to find your little sacred spot. And I'm not, you know, I don't know where it is. You'll know. You'll feel aligned with it. And that's what you want to anchor into. We just received our copy this week. Just good. Well, you know, the book is just the first step, okay? It's really important to get it and read it. And please join my, you know, my website. I sent a newsletter out today about my mother and her ascension. And I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. I don't like to arrange, I'm going to talk, you know, and then, because seriously, I don't know how I'm going to feel. Some days, these past month, I have been in bed for like a week or something. I mean, I've been so attacked and whatever, but I do think I'm going to be, like many of you, feel like I'm going to find my little place. I'm getting it. And create kind of a retreat center where people can come and just do whatever we're supposed to be doing that time frame. So it's going to be exciting, but I think everyone is, and I think we're creating a force, a new consciousness renaissance. This is the first step. We're creating a network of starseeds, of changers, you know, shakers and movers, so we can help one another out and extract ourselves from the systems. We're creating a new economy. We're creating a new earth. We're creating new communities. And it's going to be so beautiful. You know, where I live in Sicily, we have Segestus, which is an ancient, well, it's not really Greek, it's even older than Greek, I think it's Atlantean. And, you know, they had these amphitheaters, and, you know, where they had plays. And, you know, as I walk around America, and someone sent me a video, thank you, that how how America was created. The architecture, the way that everything is out here, and you just have strip malls, and you drive from one mall to another, to a place to eat, to a place to shop, to a place to work. We're so disconnected, and even in Europe still has these little tiny city centers where everyone can go into the market and see one another and come together for plays. You know, I showed some of those, and we had Peter Pan play in Sicily. Yeah, I just can't tell you how that. You are your environment. Hippocrates said that. You are what is around you, the architecture around you, the geometric, not the fallen geometry, please, guys, not the daisies of death that you're seeing and all that, but in the false tree of life. That is reverse polarities pulling you down. But the true, didactic, sacred, open geometry that leads you back to source. And I know some people, you know, that have read my book, don't like what I say about that, but believe me, one geometric pattern leads you into a fallen universe, the other one leads you back to source. It's like the yellow brick road. When you're right here, they all look the same, but one, you know, they all start out the same, but if you continue following them, and first of all, we're all mathematic patterns that become geometric patterns that are frequency and vibration, okay? Well, we're first frequent sound, then we're light, then they take on patterns, mathematical and geometrical patterns, all right? And you want to be on the patterns that are open architecture leading you back to source, not into these fallen universes. And that's what they've done. AI is artificially co-opting all the divine technology to bring you down so they can parasitically feed off of you. Ascension is returning to source, returning to the open architecture, returning to your connection to all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. So that was a little talk. I hope that's good. I think I said a mouthful, guys. I'll make this also a video on my YouTube channel, and love you guys. So glad to have you. What great souls. I love my soul mission because, you know, it inspires me to do it. which a soul mission should. A soul mission is all bringing together all your gifts, your talents, your passions, and then expanding it beyond your wildest dreams. And we all are going to do that. As these artificial timelines just dissolve, it's going to free us who are on the true timelines. You know, right now you might feel, I know I do when I'm in this web of cars, you know, these trucks everywhere. I feel like this little tiny ant. I'm also disconnected from my fellow human beings, you know, in these cities that are you know, becoming AI, where you don't even see people anymore. But that's all artificial, and it's going to give way to the simplicity, and that's where we'll be able to really, really connect within the higher frequencies and be of the highest service to those who need to heal. And the first job, of course, is healing ourselves. So we're all doing that. Okay. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And please join my website, infinitehuman.com, and get the book. Ciao for now.